The 2015 Central Basketball Association playoffs. Today's game features the number 1 seed Chattanooga Rail Runners taking on the number 4 seed Fort Wayne Flite. The Rail Runners come in with an 8-1 record. They are the regular season champions for the 2nd straight year here in the CBA. Fort Wayne enters with a 5-4 record. Chattanooga defeated number 8 seed Peoria 2 weeks ago in round number 1, 129-99 in the 2015 CBA quarterfinals. That was on Sunday, May 17th. The number 4 seed Fort Wayne Flite defeated number 5 seed Mississippi Eagles 95-92 in what was one of the more exciting games of the first round of the CBA playoffs. That was back on Saturday, May the 16th. We took a week off for Memorial Day and we're back. Semifinals tonight with the championship game taking place tomorrow. These two teams last met up back on April the 19th of this season in Chattanooga, Tennessee. The Rail Runners defeated Fort Wayne 100-86. Fred Sturdivant led Chattanooga with 16 points. Ronald Lucas III led Fort Wayne with 25 points. The Flite led at half 44-43 before Chattanooga ran past them in the second half to get the big victory. Joining me in the booth is Tim Atkinson, and my name is Jeff Mahoney, giving you the play-by-play. Carrington Thompson on the camera. And Tim, boy, what an exciting time it was that first week here of the CBA playoffs. And Chattanooga looked like that number 1 seed, no doubt about it. Here they're back, and they bring with them 2015 one of the guys up for the MVP in Jonathan Adams, along with E.J. Ward. E.J. Ward, obviously the point guard for the Rail Runners, and he'll match up with point guard Antonio Cannon of the Flite, the 2014 CBA League MVP. Antonio Cannon, last time out in the loss against Chattanooga, had his season low 9 points. They also had 9 turnovers in that game against Chattanooga. And obviously the Rail Runners with the big second half, you can see why they were able to pull away with that victory. But Tim, if Fort Wayne is going to reverse it tonight and get the upset win over the Rail Runners, what exactly do you feel like the Flite needs to accomplish?
I don't think there can be another repeat performance from last time in Chattanooga out of Antonio Cannon, the reigning MVP 2014 of the CBA. 9 points is not going to get it done against this high-flying, well-coached and very talented Chattanooga Rail Runner team. That's going to be real key for the Flite, in my opinion, to keep Chattanooga off the board, to limit their second chance points, especially with Sturdivant and Adams. Keeping them off the glass is going to be key. As far as Chattanooga, I think if they can contain Antonio Cannon, I think they could be well on their way to the championship game, Jeff.
It's really looking like we got full squads down here on the court. Folks, the 2015 CBA All-Star teams were announced earlier this week. And guard E.J. Ward from Chattanooga made the first team by averaging 11.5 points per game, 4.4 rebounds per game, 8.5 assists per game, which led the CBA. His 4.4 steals per game also led the league, and he averaged 0.2 blocks per game. Teammate Jonathan Adams also on that first team. He's a big forward out of Old Dominican University, averaging 13.5 points per game, 11.5 rebounds per game, 2.7 assists per game, 0.3 steals per game, and 1.5 blocks per game. Joining those two Rail Runners on the first team was Fort Wayne Flite forward James Humphrey. James is from Fort Wayne, Indiana, and played his college ball at the University of Missouri, Kansas City, averaging 17.6 points per game, 10 rebounds per game, 1 assist, 1 steal, and 1.1 blocks. Folks, we're going to send it down to our PA announcer, Michael Mortensen. have it, the starting lineups for today's first semifinal matchup, the first of two. Game number 2 will feature number 6 seed Middle Tennessee Storm taking on the number 2 seed Bowling Green Hornets, bringing with them the league's leading scorer, Terrace Clemens. Tim, we definitely got some scores on the floor here, and we didn't see Jonathan Adams in week number 1, but he is back, Tim. He was nominated for the 2015 league MVP, which went to Mardrakus Wade, but definitely a dominant weapon for Coach Gaffney and the Rail Runners is Jonathan Adams.
Yeah, he's a huge player, outstanding player out of Old Dominion. So D1 experience. Watch for him to carve out space underneath the basket for those rebounds. He's very, very good at using his wide body to make room to pull down them boards. It's going to be key for Antonio Wilson and Hump, and, the big guys for the Flite, to keep him off the glass, limit the opportunities to one time, as I mentioned in the opener. So this is going to be some high power here, Jeff. I'm super excited to see this game. Been waiting 2 weeks for this.
And Jonathan Adams, obviously the Flite do have 2 bigs that can combat in Antonio Wilson and James Humphrey. Folks, Chattanooga was the second best scoring team in the league, as we got a whistle off the tip. Right behind Bowling Green, scoring 103.9 points per game. Fort Wayne was the 3rd worst, scoring 91.8 points per game. Fort Wayne was the best defensive team in the league, as E.J. Ward controls possession off the tip, misses the lay-in, rebounded by Big T, Antonio Wilson. So already off the jump, some fireworks here by E.J. Ward. Expect to see that throughout this game. We do play 4 10-minute quarters. James Humphrey from the elbow, being guarded by Jonathan Adams. James looking a little bit quick there as he gets it off the glass. Tim blowing right past Jonathan Adams.
That's a very good sign for Coach Wilmot and the Flite. Humphrey showing some aggressiveness, going right at Adams.
And down low in the block, that was Quincy Skates with the miss, rebounded by Wadner Joseph. Now Big T Wilson. Tim, that one there looked like it may have went off his knee, just bounced out of bounds. Some of those early game jitters. Yeah,
there's no question about it. You're going to have a couple early silly turnovers here in a game like this, but watch for both teams to settle down and iron those out.
So E.J. Ward joining him in the backcourt there is Reggie Lytle. You got 8 seconds to get over that timeline as he hops over Dante Hampton, Jonathan Adams. Dante Hampton, a very, very athletic 2-guard for Chattanooga, as that was kicked out to Fred Sturdivant. Quincy Skates listed as a guard, goes about 260, does Quincy Skates. Driving baseline, Fred Sturdivant just hanging in the air, Tim.
Yeah, he's very crafty once he's around the rim. He can get it up on both sides of the glass. Very, very skilled player.
We're tied at 2, 1 minute and 10 seconds into this game. That was a long 2-pointer by Reggie Lytle, rebounded by Hampton. Dante Hampton over to Sturdivant. 3-pointer from the wing is good by Fred Sturdivant. Sturdivant has all 5 points for Chattanooga early on in this one.
Yeah, he's got a sweet stroke as well. Not only crafty around the rim with his length, he can definitely shoot the ball as well.
With Jonathan Adams on the floor, that puts Alex Wells on the bench for Chattanooga. Alex Wells, a definite sharpshooter for the Rail Runners. That's Antonio Cannon rising up for 3. We are tied at 5.
Yeah, Antonio has a tendency to start slow in games, so that's a very good sign for the Flite, him hitting his first shot.
And Tim, you know, we talk about the point guard matchup, Antonio Cannon and E.J. Ward, but Reggie Lytle's actually playing defense on E.J. Ward, and Antonio Cannon's guarding Dante Hampton.
Yeah, Lytle is the probably the best on-ball defender in the backcourt for the Flite. So also with Cannon being your #1 scorer, you want to kind of let him relax, not relax, but have him guard maybe the off player on D.
Jonathan Adams, and we got a travel there as he was trying to duke James Humphrey and get past him. Our coaches for today's game for Chattanooga, it's Paul Gaffney. He's the 2015 CBA Coach of the Year in his first season. And Coach Rod Wilmot coaching the Fort Wayne Flite. He's got an 11-9 career record with the Flite. Antonio Wilson down low, right-handed hook shot, left short, rebounded by Adams.
He can go get the ball, Jeff. There's no question about it.
Yeah, you saw the strength there from Jonathan Adams, out-muscling Wadner Joseph, which does not happen. Awesome. Great steal, but then another steal by E.J. Ward. Of course, he averages over 4 steals a game. Does Ward. Fans wanting the double dribble there, but I do believe the ball was knocked loose. Sturdivant for 3 from the corner, no good. Long rebound. We do have a foot on the line. Possession to the Flite. Tied at 5, 7 minutes, 21 seconds remains here in quarter number 1. This is the Central Basketball Association where we do play FIBA rules. Cannon over the timeline. Gets it back from Wadner Joseph. No zone defense here in FIBA as that long two-pointer just inside the arc is good by Antonio Cannon as the Flite take the 7-5 lead.
Yeah, on the offensive side, the Flite runs a lot of motion, a lot of ball screens. Here on the other side, a little bit more one-on-one action here on Chattanooga's side, but good hustle there by Wads.
Yeah, Sturdivant with the turnover on the other end, hanging in the air was Antonio Cannon and James Humphrey with the putback slam. Flite on a run right now, 7 straight points.
Yeah, Jeff, you can feel the intensity there, even on the sideline for the Flite as all players are up cheering their team on. Coach Wilmot's got to be very happy about the aggressiveness and the overall determination here shown so far.
Catcher, as the refs are over at the scores table, discussing the action. 9-5 your score. So they're going to give Antonio Cannon a 3-pointer, which now makes the score 10-5. Shot no good, and a little
that was Wads just getting his body on the ball and knocked it out of Adams' hands. Adams didn't even see him. That was just well done.
You know, Wadner Joseph, arguably the strongest player for the Fort Wayne Flite, as Reggie Lytle's heading to the free throw line. Foul going to be called on number 3, E.J. Ward.
Yeah, Wadner Joseph, the do-everything guy for the Flite. Hustle plays. You saw it just a minute ago on the floor, getting a loose ball. Does all the dirty work for the Flite is Wadner Joseph.
But if there's one player that can muscle up to Wadner Joseph here in the CBA, it's got to be Jonathan Adams. As you can see, the bulk down there on the floor. He goes 230 at 6'6", but Tim, you might be closer to 250.
Yeah, there's the 230. I think is a little shy on that.
A lot of muscle, though, goes. So the second one is no good. 11-5 to score, a 6-point lead for the Fort Wayne Flite. They have scored 9 straight points. Top of the key is Jonathan Adams, one of the best bigs, averaging a double-double on the season for Chattanooga. Quincy Skates, baseline jumpers, no good. James Humphrey, sky high up there for the rebound. James Humphrey, very improved player, made the first team All-CBA this year as Antonio Cannon driving in the lane, finishes. Antonio Cannon knew he was going to be a key player, and it's shown early on in this game.
Yeah, there's no question. But we talked about it in the opener, Jeff. He couldn't have another repeat performance like he did in April against Chattanooga, and so far he's already he's one shy of his high last game.
So Dante Hampton's going to end that big run by the Flite with a 3-pointer, makes the score 13-8. And that was an 11-0 run by the Fort Wayne Flite. Reggie Lytle, nice move. Jumpers left rims out to Sturdivant. Sturdivant being guarded by Wadner Joseph. Reggie Lytle, Tim, to start this game, Lytle was forcing EJ to his left.
Yeah, you want to force him to his weak hand. Nice block there by Tone.
That was Big T. Wilson with the block on E.J. Ward, but the elbow jumper is good by Jonathan Adams. 13-10. Now your score. Flite did hold a 13-5 lead. Chattanooga now scoring the last 5 points.
Excuse me, Jeff. This is where Cannon can really do something here. He's got a lot of strength on Ward. He can go down to the post.
Lytle pulls up, baseline jumper from 18's no good. Skates out to Dante Hampton. Hampton, 14-foot runner. Looked like he was blocked there by Wadner Joseph. Now the lob to Big T. Wilson. Flite up 15-10. We got a timeout going to be called by Coach Paul Gaffney.
Now that was a turnover, Jeff, over and back.
Over and back violation. So coming off the bench now is going to be number 44, Michael Robertson for Chattanooga. He'll come into the game for Quincy Skates. Big for big as Robertson goes 6'8", 245. He's from Life College.
Yeah, he's a big gentleman out there. Looks like he's guarding Terry right now, but he's a huge, huge guy.
Ronald Lucas checking into the game now for Reggie Lytle. Herbert Terry also into the game for Antonio Wilson, as traveling is going to be called on Cannon.
Yeah, that was a good call. Just took one too many steps there.
Herbert Terry, 6'7", 235 out of Southeast Missouri State. Ronald Lucas, just a 21-year-old at 6'4", 200 pounds from Columbus State Community College. E.J. Ward flashing the sign for his team as Robertson comes up for the pick. There's a double pick there set by the Rail Runners. Adams for three, no good. Robertson with the rebound. Left-handed hook shot's no good. Rebounded by Herbert Terry. Ronald Lucas for three, no good. Robertson with the rebound. A lot of very good bigs in this game here. Great guards as well, as Sturdivant could not connect on the left-handed lay-in, rebounded by Humphrey.
Yeah, you can see how crafty he is. Looked like he was going to get a charge called on him. Did the Euro step, just couldn't get it to go.
So Lucas now running the point. Moves Cannon over to the two. E.J. Ward's got the defense on Antonio Cannon. Dante Hampton on Lucas. Pick set by James Humphrey. We got
a moving screen. They're going to call that a violation on the screen.
So Zach Payton's going to enter the game for Antonio Cannon. Lance Williams also in for Wadner Joseph. So Lance Williams definitely a three-point threat for the Flite.
Yeah, watch for Williams to spot up on the offensive end. He's a sharpshooter.
Williams got the defense on Hampton. It's Jonathan Adams being guarded by James Humphrey. Lob goes down to Robertson, working against Herbert Terry. And we got traveling going to be called, as great positioning there by Herbert Terry. Just had him walled off, Tim.
Yeah, and that was also help defense that came on the double team down low. Robertson wasn't ready for it and caused a turnover.
The pass goes to Lucas, near wing, being guarded by Hampton. Zach Payton pulls up just inside the arc, left short, rebounded by Jonathan Adams.
Yeah, no reason to settle for that jumper right there. That can come at any time in the offensive set. So Coach Wilmot not happy about that selection.
Hampton driving from the wing. Williams did a great job of getting his hand in there, knocking that ball loose, picked up by Payton. Payton now trying to finish as he tied up with Robertson. We got a jump ball going to be called.
And it is alternating possessions, no jump balls in the FIBA rules.
Checking into the game now will be Alex Wells for Dante Hampton. Folks, Alex Wells, last 3 games of the regular season, one of the most prolific scorers in the CBA. Wells comes into tonight averaging 20.6 points per game while shooting 45% from the field. And Tim, that number is quite outstanding because he'll put up maybe 6 to 10 shots from beyond the arc in any given game.
Yeah, he's not shy about shooting the ball. He is loaded with self-confidence. There's no question about that. With his stroke, you can see why.
James Humphrey out, Antonio Wilson back in for the Flite. Herbert Terry down to Zach Payton, being guarded by Sturdivant. Down in the block, out to Lucas. Lucas with the pump fake, 3-point, no good. As that ball's knocked out of bounds, possession going to Chattanooga.
Yeah, that was a good look. Coach Wilmot can't be mad about that one. There's a wide open look, just didn't go down for Luke.
Ronald Lucas averaging 12.6 points per game, shooting 43% from the field for the Fort Wayne Flite. Wells now with the drive, caught up in the lane as a loose ball rolls out to Jonathan Adams for 3, and he drains it.
That was all set up by Wells. Dribble drive to the paint, made the defense collapse. Nice back cut, but picked up nicely by Ward there.
Knocked out of bounds by Lance Williams. So Jonathan Adams with the last 2 buckets for Chattanooga as the Rail Runners pull to within 2, 15-13, 1:43 left here in the first quarter. E.J. Ward finds Sturdivant coming up from the baseline. Sturdivant, another high flyer that you'll see in this game, is Robertson, a great take to the cup, tipped in by Jonathan Adams. Tim, you're already starting to see where Jonathan Adams on the floor here for Chattanooga is paying dividends.
Yeah, there's no question about it. He's a difference maker for Coach Gaffney, as we've seen here in this first quarter.
Tied up at 15. Ronald Lucas trying to put his team ahead. Outlet pass goes to Ward, and we got a foul going to be called on the bench, or
I think we got a technical on the bench here.
so
Coach Gaffney's trying to get the explanation right now, but they're definitely talking on the bench over there for Chattanooga.
definitely, Tim, you really wouldn't expect that from a Paul Gaffney coach team. Chattanooga, this is a class act team, there's no doubt.
Oh, there's no question. And that comes straight from Gaffney on down. I mean, they're a well-run organization, and they're a fun team to watch. They're a very good team. So I think that was just maybe a warning, Jeff, on the bench.
And we've seen that throughout the year here in the CBA, where the refs are going to establish the control of the game. No foul language is going to be tolerated on the floor, no fighting. The refs all season long have been doing a great job, Tim.
Yeah, not only that, they've kept the flow of these games very well. Couldn't be more pleased with the referees here in Fort Wayne.
So Adams for three, no good. Long rebound by Big T, Antonio Wilson. Zach Payton looking for Lance Williams, stolen by E.J. Ward with the easy layup.
That pass was just telegraphed. There's a mixture of telegraph and Lance Williams not coming to the ball, but went right back at the cup. Nice little step and got it.
We're tied at 17 now. 40 seconds remains here in the first quarter. E.J. Ward, top of the key.
Yeah, watch for the flight to go underneath the screens all the time on Ward. They will try to make him make jump shots.
Nice turnaround jumper by Robertson, just a little bit too strong. As Coach Wilmot slowing his team up here, looking for a last shot here. As really the shot clock and game clock are about the same, 14 seconds. Lucas does get some separation, no look pass is deflected right to him. Feed goes to Herbert Terry. He was stuck underneath the backboard there, Tim, as Robertson knocks it off Zach Payton.
Yeah, that was Sturdivant's length that got to that block. He just kind of came out of nowhere. His wingspan is pretty impressive.
So just 3 seconds remains here as Ward's calling for the ball, trying to race it up too. He's going to have to chuck it up from beyond half court. Tim, any other real possibilities there for E.J. Ward and Chattanooga with just 3 seconds remaining?
No, I mean, they could have came up with a play, but with the FIBA rules, only the coach can call a timeout, and it's got to be a dead ball situation. So they chose not to go with the timeout there. But both teams got to be happy with this first quarter. Low-scoring first quarter, but nonetheless, both teams playing very aggressive, both ends of the floor. Looks like these guys want this game, both teams, very badly.
Winner of this game will play in the championship game tomorrow here at McMillen Center in Fort Wayne, Indiana, 3 p.m. start time. Game number 2 will feature number 2 seed Bowling Green and number 6 seed Middle Tennessee Storm. Middle Tennessee led by point guard Miles Thrash. So we got some really good point guards on display here this weekend at Mack Park. In the first quarter, Reggie Lytle with 1 point for the Flite. Antonio Cannon with 8 points. He was fantastic there in the first quarter. James Humphrey with 4. Antonio Wilson with 2. Lance Williams with 2. Dante Hampton for Chattanooga had 3 points. E.J. Ward with 2. Fred Sturdivant with 5. And Jonathan Adams with 7 points. Tim, Jonathan Adams was instrumental there in that run where Chattanooga went from 5 points to 17 points. That was a 12-2 run. Jonathan Adams had 7 points.
Yeah, he comes down, hits a 3, drives to the basket, kicks one out. I mean, the kid is very, very talented and just fun to watch. And but Coach Wilmot's got to be happy with holding them to 17 points. He's got to be extremely happy with that. Let's see what the starters look like. Are getting to come back in here for the Flite. Let's see if they can start the second quarter like they did the first quarter, Jeff.
Tim, we hear it from the coaches all the time. You know, these games, it's going to be a game of runs, and we've seen that. behind the play of Antonio Cannon. Fort Wayne went on an 11-0 run and led 13-5 there in the first quarter. Chattanooga once again responded with a 12-2 run.
Yeah, basketball is a game of runs, and especially here in the CBA, it is no question. You'll get a 10 spurt, another 10 spurt from another team. So it's about battling through that stretch and not hanging your head and going right back at them.
So it looks like Freeman Pinckney, number 5, is on the floor. He's a 27-year-old at 5'10", 165 from Bethel University out of Clarksville, Tennessee. Pinckney being guarded by Reggie Lytle. Fort Wayne Flite with their starters out on the floor as Alex Wells. Looks like we're going to have a foul on Antonio Cannon. Antonio Wilson was also there with the help D, looking for the big block.
Yeah, you got to respect Wells' jump shot. So with a little pump fake, he can go around a lot of guys because you got to respect it. So nice move there by Alex Wells.
It looks like foul's going to be called on James Humphrey.
Yeah, Humphrey came over for the block, and I think he's the one that actually made the body contact with Wells. He got picked up for a foul.
So the first free throw is no good by Alex Wells. As good a shooter as he is, you would think he's almost automatic from the free throw line.
Yeah, an 80%er, Jeff. He's got a sweet stroke, but missed 2 there.
Antonio Wilson comes down with the rebound. Folks, 2 weeks ago in the first half, Antonio Wilson had like 8 rebounds, so he was just a monster on the boards for Coach Rod Wilmot. Down low, that's Freeman Pinckney, number 5, guard number 5, Antonio Cannon. Pinckney doing a great job of coming up with the steal. Beautiful play there.
That was great defense by Pinckney.
Fred Sturdivant working against Wadner Joseph. Pinckney with Michael Robertson setting the pick. Pass deflected by Humphrey, picked up by Reggie Lytle with the easy lay-in as Fort Wayne Flite takes back the lead, 19-17.
Very active hands for the Flite in the passing lanes. They've caused a couple of turnovers just by keeping their hands up in the passing lanes as Alex Wells airballs a 3 there.
Deep three-pointer by Alex Wells. And folks, these are NBA three-point lines here at Mack Park in Fort Wayne, Indiana. This facility for the Fort Wayne Parks and Recreation ran by Fort Wayne Flite owner Benny Lewis. So Antonio Cannon, Tim, you think he's got that turnover in the back of his mind as the three-pointer's off the mark. Rebounded by Sturdivant, knocked away by Joseph, but picked up by Pinckney. Pinckney launches a long 2-pointer off the heel. Big rebound by Big T. Wilson.
Boy, did he come in and sky for that board. Let's see if Lytle can hit a 3. That'll be huge.
Left short, deflected to Alex Wells.
Nice crossover by Wells, and they're going to get a bump on Lytle on the dribble drive. Alex Wells so hard to guard. He's you need team defense to wrap around Wells. Gaffney has a luxury with bringing him off the bench with Jonathan Adams here today.
Team fouls do reset after every quarter, so that's the second team foul there for Fort Wayne, 0 for Chattanooga. And you do automatically go to the double bonus. So Sturdivant shot off the mark, rebounded by Humphrey. Antonio Cannon, far side of the court. Nice take as he got past Quincy Skates, and that's what we know and love from Antonio Cannon. Tim, he was looking for a foul there.
Yeah, there's no question. He can make that body contact and still hang in the air as the other defender comes down, and that's when he flips it up. He has great leaping ability and hang time.
Well, so far in this game, as the Flite go, so too does Antonio Cannon. Has a beautiful floater there.
Yeah, Wells has every offensive move in the arsenal. There's no doubt about it. Shooting, dribble drive, floater, three-point shots, free throw shooter. Just a great player.
That's Alex Wells at 6'3", 190 out of Lee University. You can see him throw it down too. Very smooth in the lane as James Humphrey switches to the right hand, Tim, for the easy bucket.
Yeah, they're going to have to send help, Chattanooga. They can't let Humphrey go one-on-one. It'll be interesting to see what kind of adjustment Coach Gaffney makes on that.
Once again, James Humphrey, first team All-CBA this season as Quincy Skates goes hard to the cup and gets fouled. He'll head to the free throw line to shoot 2.
Yeah, just some Ole Matador defense there. Tried to funnel him in, but that was way too late on the help defense.
So foul gonna be called on the Flite's Wadner Joseph, his first, team's third. 23-19 your score here, 7:08 left to play in the second. Flite so far outscoring Chattanooga 6-2 here in the second period. Skates hits the second, but got a whistle blown.
We got a lane violation called on Robertson. That'll make that free throw void.
So Ronald Lucas checks in for Antonio Cannon. Tim, little surprised on how quick Coach Wilmot's taken Antonio Cannon out of this game, especially after the great play we've seen early on.
Yeah, I think he's trying to keep him fresh. Nobody knows the Flite players better than Coach Wilmot, so trusting Coach Wilmot is what they do.
James Humphrey kicks out. Joseph for three. Off the heel, rebounded by Adams. Tim, and also with E.J. Ward on the bench, sometimes that could be a matchup thing as well. Wanting to keep your guys fresh when the Ward's back in the game.
Absolutely.
Adams, Dante Hampton. Wells coming up from the baseline. Look for the fadeaway jumper there. This was a little bit too behind the backboard. Skates for three, drains it.
Yeah, that was a tough shot. Had the hand in the face as Big T came out just a little late, but that's good defense, just a better shot.
That'll pull Chattanooga to within one. 23-22 is your score. Lucas out to Lytle, just inside the arc. Gives it up to Big T Wilson. Trying to back down Jonathan Adams there. Right-handed hook shot, no good, but a putback is by Wadner Joseph.
Nice rebound there by Joseph, his fourth here in the first half.
Flite extend their lead to 3, 25-22. Pinckney finds Hampton out of the corner. Skates, who just hit that tray, could not hit the scoop shot. Rebounded by Lucas. James Humphrey now 4-3. That's his spot on the floor as he knocks it down. Big three-pointer by James Humphrey.
Yeah, he loves that wing shot out there from three, and he will knock that down consistently from that spot.
6-point lead now for the Flite as Pinckney, he was all alone there for a second. Flite doing a good job of caving down on him. Skates called with the travel.
That right there is team defense at its finest. Recover, help, recover. That is outstanding defense, and you could see the Flite bench blow up with excitement on that defensive stop.
Fort Wayne, another substitution as Herbert Terry's into the game for Antonio Wilson. So some frequent substitution here early on by Coach Wilmot, as it is a little muggy here in the gym. It's got to be warm down there on the floor. Blocking foul going to be called on Skates.
Skates just didn't move his feet fast enough on that. Didn't like the call, but there's no doubt about it, that was a blocking call.
Well, for Quincy Skates, that's his first and the team's first. Skates does go 6'5", 260 out of Tennessee Wesleyan College. He's from Jackson, Tennessee.
Stepped on the out-of-bounds line there, Jeff. First one we've seen today, thank goodness, but you'll see that here with the NBA three-point line and the limited space on the sidelines there. Also,
obviously some floor markings for the other courts that can run opposite of this NBA court. Freeman Pinckney, 4-3. Humphrey with another rebound.
His fourth.
4:55 remains here in the second quarter. Wadner Joseph. Nice pass there to Herbert Terry, but blocking foul going to be called on Freeman Pinckney.
Yeah, Pinckney had the position, was stopped. I don't know if referee just called that he was too far underneath the basket. I would have liked that to have been a no call and just let him play on, but either way, he's going to go to the line.
Yeah, I guess that's one thing we don't have on this floor, Tim, is the half circle underneath the cup there, which is obviously is an area that the defenders cannot be in.
Correct. So yeah, I mean, it's left up to the judgment of the referees then. So, without that line, it's pretty much a call-by-call basis. And that's exactly what Coach Gaffney's talking about over there at the sidelines. He's not happy with that call at all.
But from what you just said there, makes perfect sense. Absolutely. Lance Williams, 4-3. Wing three-pointer is good by number 13, Lance Williams. as Fort Wayne extends its lead 31-22, 4:46 left here in the second quarter.
Yeah, if you're Chattanooga, you got to know who your shooters are. And with Williams, he's the best shooter on the floor for the Flite. You cannot give him any space.
Flite on an 8-0 run right now with back-to-back three-pointers by Humphrey and Lance Williams. Turnover picked up by E.J. Ward.
That's Ward's third steal here in the first half, Jeff.
Ward always at the right place at the right time. He is the floor general for the Rail Runners. Alex Wells kicks out to Adams in the corner for three. Cannot convert. Lance Williams with the rebound. Williams now looking to go coast to coast with it. Left-handed scoop shot is good by Lance Williams.
Not known for the dribble drive, but he saw the crease and just took it right to the cup. Nicely done by Williams.
11-point advantage for the Flite. Chattanooga all-time in this series, 3-0 over Fort Wayne, as the Flite's going to be called there by Lance Williams. Tim, we've been very pleasantly surprised with the play by Lance Williams ever since he stepped on the floor for the Fort Wayne Flite, the opening game against Mississippi. This is a hustle guy, can knock down some shots and play some tight defense.
Absolutely, and you saw a dribble drive as well. So having a nice game is Lance Williams here with 7 early points.
Skates on the baseline, goes cross court, up to E.J. Ward, top of the key, retreats back for three. E.J. does not shoot a whole lot of threes. That one rebounded by Herbert Terry. Now wide on to James Humphrey. Throwing it down with the alley-oop. Spectacular play as the Flite are up now by 13, 35-22. Electric here at Mack Park.
Yeah, that was a set play called by the Flite. Screen and roll. Wide open for the lob, and Hump just threw it down.
12-0 run currently for the Fort Wayne Flite with some fireworks there.
Williams don't need to press Ward this far out. Do not need to press him that far out.
Dante Hampton now for three.
That was a big shot for the Rail Runners.
Drains it. Absolutely huge shot there. Ends that run. 25-35 is your score. Williams down to Hump. Trying to back down big Jonathan Adams. See Quincy skates there with a little bit of help as a fadeaway is no good. Hampton with the board. Hampton now 1-on-3 trying to get all the way to the cup and does. That's Dante Hampton with the lay-in.
Great body control by Hampton on that dribble drive. Good pump fake by James.
As he pulls up, long two-pointer, rattles out. Reggie Lytle there just misses on the putback. Tim had been very impressed all season long. Reggie Lytle for a guard, always around looking for those rebounds.
Yeah, he's got good bounce. He knows he's got good bounce. He sees one on the glass. He's going to go after it like a big fella. So that's one thing with the Flite. Everybody will attack the glass.
Reggie Lytle averaging 4 rebounds a game for the Fort Wayne Flite to go along with 2 assists. He also is scoring 7 points a game. That's Reggie Lytle. 35-27 is your score. Flite went on a 12-0 run there for a minute, but the last 5 points have come from Dante Hampton in Chattanooga. Dante Hampton having a little bit of fun here at Mack Park with the fans sitting courtside. Hampton really taking it upon himself to kind of wake up his teammates.
Yeah, they needed that last 3 from him. That was huge. Had a steal. So yeah, I mean that was a good minute there for Hampton. I mean, it cut the lead to 8 points, Jeff, so that was very huge.
So far in this game, I feel like this is the best I've ever seen Fort Wayne play.
As a team, I agree with you, Jeff. We've been lucky to watch the Flite every game and stat their games. So this is probably the best all-around first half that they played, maybe even going back to last year, Jeff.
And you're getting support from everywhere. Antonio Cannon earlier on in the first quarter. Now you're seeing it here with Lance Williams draining the triples as well. Been an exciting game so far. We got 2:44 left here in the second quarter. Fort Wayne up 35-27.
So, Jeff, key with this second quarter is you look at Jonathan Adams' score line. He has not scored here in the second quarter, and the Flite have an 8-point lead. I don't think that's any coincidence.
Jonathan Adams on the floor right now for Chattanooga, along with E.J. Ward, Quincy Skates, Alex Wells, and Dante Hampton. Flite have their starters minus Wadner Joseph. They're going to keep Lance Williams in, Tim. That seems like a good idea.
Yeah, there's no question about it. If you can get these solid minutes out of number 13, you keep going with them. I like Coach Wilmot's idea with this. Match him up in the backcourt with Weidel and Cannon.
That's good defense right there. That's an air ball attempt by Hampton, rebounded by Big T. Wilson. So Flite with 3 guards out there right now. Tim, normally when you got a Wadner Joseph out there, it's a little bit of a bigger set for Fort Wayne.
Yeah, usually Wadner Joseph's in here with this lineup as Adams with the swat on Humphrey.
Big block by Jonathan Adams, coming back from behind.
Nice.
Skates, muscles.
That's a heck of a drop step there by Skates, using his body and just beautiful footwork, laid it up on the glass for a deuce.
Quincy Skates muscling in here as the last 7 points of this game have come from Chattanooga. Lance Williams off the heel, but Humphrey was there with the rebound. We're going to get a foul called, I believe, on Dante Hampton with the reach-in.
Yeah, and that was all kept alive by, by Wilson. Just tipped it over to his teammate Humphrey. Now he's going to go to the line, a chance to shoot 2.
So James Humphrey, his first time at the charity stripe, as a foul is called on Dante Hampton, his first, and the team's third. Tim, the camaraderie, just knowing where each other are on the floor, these 2 bigs for Fort Wayne has been spectacular with Antonio Wilson and James Humphrey.
Yeah, and it's been key to have these 2 guys together since last year in the first year for the Fort Wayne Flite. They've had pretty much the core key roster has been here for 2 years, so I think that plays a huge part in the progression. Along with this facility right here for the gentlemen to be able to come here and work out on a daily basis. And
for Chattanooga, you know, they're just now getting Jonathan Adams back, who missed 3 games in a row. Alex Wells, nice drives of floaters, no good. So Wells has yet to really find that shooting stroke that we've come to know and really just enjoy watching this whole season.
Yeah, Fort Wayne's playing good defense on Wells, playing good help defense on his dribble drives. He looks a little frustrated out there. So if the Flite can keep him with that kind of mindset, that will point in their favor.
Tim, from last season to this season right here, obviously the onus has been on endurance, but also defense, and you're seeing it right here where teams know they can't just go out and try to put up 120.
Yeah, no question about it. This is all-around basketball that we're watching.
Reggie Lytle out to Lance Williams, who's wide open for 3, just comes up short. Now it's Alex Wells, walled off by Antonio Wilson. Hampton looking to kick it out to Quincy Skates, stolen by Humphrey. Now Antonio Cannon just misses there as Skates was there with the defense. E.J. Ward, other end, elbow jumper is good by E.J. Ward.
Yeah, it looked like Ward was out of bounds and didn't set his position back in on the floor before he got that ball, but referee didn't see it that way.
Chattanooga now within 4 as Reggie Lytle with the easy layup.
Yeah, if you're going to give him a crease, take it. I mean, that's a no-brainer right there. Wide open lane to the basket.
I think even Reggie Lytle was surprised about that, Tim.
Yeah, there's no question.
Down on the block is Jonathan Adams. Fadeaway right-handed hook shot's no good. Rebounded by Wilson.
I think Humphrey with his length got a piece of that ball.
So Antonio Cannon slowing things up here. 20 seconds, 19 remains in this game. About 2-second, 3-second difference between the shot clock and game clock. As Wilson out to Lance Williams. Lytle all alone on the wing, no good. Rebounded by Antonio Wilson and Big T with the putback.
Wilson's 8th rebound here. That would have counted if that went in.
But as it is, 39-31, Fort Wayne Flite going to take an 8-point lead into the break. A low-scoring affair here in the first half, Tim. You surprised by that?
A little bit, but you can tell the defense is ramped up on both sides. The Flite, absolutely, their team defense has been the difference maker. Their rotations, their help defense has been huge. Coach Gaffney's very, very unhappy with the things that have went. I know he's seen his team play a lot better than this. So he's going to, I guarantee you, go in the locker room and light a fire under him. But, it was a good first half on both ends. Flite especially good, up by 8 going into half.
Folks, it truly is a game of runs. They're in the second quarter. Fort Wayne went on a 12-0 run to start the second quarter. They eventually were up 35-22. Then came back Chattanooga along with Dante Hampton. Chattanooga went on a 9-0 run to bring that lead down to just 4 points. With the last 2 buckets of the second quarter went to the Fort Wayne Flite, and they will take an 8-point lead in the break. We're going to take a break here in the booth, and we'll be back with you for second half action here from Mack Park in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Welcome back, everybody, to Mack Park in Fort Wayne, Indiana. This is the McMillen Center, Fort Wayne Parks and Recreation. Beautiful facility here, built a year ago. Benny Lewis, the owner of the Fort Wayne Flite, runs this arena, and right now it is hopping here at Mack Park. Beautiful crowded venue today, cheering on the Fort Wayne Flite, the number 4 seed here in the 2015 CBA playoffs, and the number 1 seed, Chattanooga Rail Runners, currently down by 8. Let's take a look at the first half scoring here. First for Chattanooga, Quincy Skates had 5 points, Dante Hampton with 8 points, E.J. Ward had 4, Fred Sturdivant with 5, Wells with 2 points, and big Jonathan Adams with 7 points. All 7 came in the first quarter. Looking at Fort Wayne Flite, Reggie Lytle with 5. Antonio Cannon, your 2014 league MVP, had 10 points. 8 of those came in the first quarter during an 11-0 run by the Flite. Wadner Joseph had 2 points. James Humphrey with 11. Humphrey had a big 3-pointer there in the second quarter. Part of a Fort Wayne Flite 12-0 run. Antonio Wilson with 4 points and Lance Williams with 7 points. Tim, it was a defensive battle there in the first half. Fort Wayne, the best defensive team in the league as far as points given up per game. Chattanooga also a very good defensive team and the second highest scoring offense in the league. So are you surprised by the halftime score here, 39-31?
A little bit, not what we expected. I think we expected a little bit more points, but I think for the Flite to have a chance to win this game, this is what they need. They need a lower scoring game. 17-17 at the end of the first quarter. It's kind of where they want to be at, 39-31 here at the half. So, you know, Coach Gaffney's still got to feel good, though. He's only down 8. Hasn't got a whole lot out of Alex Wells. And Adams only scored 7 and hit 7 in the first quarter. So, I mean, Chattanooga's in good position. They get a couple guys make some shots. They can get right back in this and go up. So the Flite's got to keep battling. They got to keep the rotations on defense tight. That's one thing that cannot waver is their team defense. If that does not, they have a chance to win this ball game.
Tim, great substitution there. Frequent substitutions by the Fort Wayne Flite. And you're talking about that lockdown defense there. So a credit to Coach Rod Wilmot keeping his guys fresh. It is very hot and muggy here in the gym. But the Fort Wayne Flite really getting after it there on the defensive end.
Yeah, there's no question about it. Coach Wilmot's got to be pleased with that first half. There's no doubt about that. You know, would like to have a little bit more points out of Wilson, but being up by 8, they're in the driver's seat right here. Let's see what they do coming out here in the second half.
Folks, previous to this matchup, these two teams first met up on March the 15th in 2014 here in Fort Wayne, Indiana. It was at the old Taylor University, and Chattanooga defeated Fort Wayne 122-103. Later on that year, on April the 27th in Rossville, Georgia, Chattanooga won 102-94. Earlier this year in Chattanooga, Tennessee, it was the Rail Runners winning it 100-86. So Chattanooga leads the all-time series 3-0. And Tim, this is the first time that these two teams have faced off in the same state, you know, once again. So three previous meetings in 3 different states.
Yeah, that's pretty wild when you look at that stat, Jeff.
So Wadner Joseph here to start the third quarter. Quick pass goes to Reggie Lytle. One-on-one with Quincy Skates, and Lytle wins that one, Tim.
Yeah, that was a nice play set up at halftime. Good back cut by Lytle. That was an easy layup.
10-point lead for the Fort Wayne Flite, 41-31, as Antonio Cannon knocked that ball out of Quincy Skates' hands. But they're going to call a foul on Antonio. It looked clean, Tim, just because the ball cleanly got swiped right out of his hands.
Yeah, no, that was a good play by Cannon. It looked good from up here, but obviously the ref's right down there on the action. We'll go with his judgment.
Absolutely. So for Antonio, that will be his second foul, the team's first here in the third quarter. Inbounds pass to Dante Hampton. Skates on the baseline, one-on-one with James Humphrey. Quincy Skates blocked by Big James, picked up by Antonio Cannon. On the other end of the court, Quincy Skates there trailing the play, and now they're going to call hold on number 1.
Yeah, if you give Antonio Cannon any crease, he's going to go to the cup. There's no question about it. He is so good at getting fouled. He's great at getting to the line.
Tim, all great scorers know how to get to the free throw line.
There's no question about it. It's an offensive arsenal. There's no question. The easiest, that's why they call it a free throw. It's the easiest shot in basketball.
And Antonio Cannon on the season shooting 72% from the free throw line is big Antonio Cannon.
Yeah, obviously I think he'd like to be up closer to 75, 76%, but nonetheless, still good shooter. He's kind of streaky on the free throws.
So Cannon, first free throw, off the heel, no good. Cannon sporting some old Nikes down there, Tim. Not sure if I've seen him.
Yeah, I haven't seen those on him yet. Maybe he's going for good luck. Maybe there's some old school shoes here for him for good luck. I'm not sure. We'll have to ask him about that.
From his days at Indiana Tech when he was taking them to the Nationals. So Cannon misses the first, hits the second, Flite up 42-31. That is Jonathan Adams. Adams did play in the final regular season game for Chattanooga, but did not play in the previous 2 before that. So knocking off a little bit of the rust is Jonathan Adams. As a three-pointer is good by Antonio Cannon.
Antonio Cannon is looking very calm and collected here tonight. I love his demeanor. It's one of the best I've seen him. I've seen him score more and better, but all-around game, he is on his game tonight.
Fred Sturdivant now one-on-one, help defense by Antonio Wilson as Sturdivant just splits defenders there, Tim.
That's wild. No way I thought he was going to get to the other side of the cup, and he did it pretty easily.
The length and the athleticism of a Fred Sturdivant who can do just about everything on the floor. Fred was in this gym 2 hours early before the game, knocking down jumpers. So E.J. Ward on the other end, 17-footer is good.
That's a guy that knows his ability, knows that he just will stop and pop. No reason to go to the basket when you're that small. Pop up from about 15 and just drill it.
And boy, Tim, does he have a nice floater or what?
Yeah, he does. He's a nice player.
Cannon using that pick from Wilson. Pick, give and go, no good. Sturdivant with the board. Balling out, gets it up to E.J. Ward. Ward's pass intended for Quincy Skates there is a turnover. .754 remains here in the third quarter. 45-35 is your score. Cannon over the timeline. Hands it off to Reggie Lytle. And E.J. Ward's got the defense on Lytle. Cannon being guarded by Dante Hampton. Cannon rises up and drains it 3 feet beyond the three-point line from downtown. Antonio Cannon, back-to-back three-pointers.
That's his 17th point, Jeff. Outstanding player is Antonio Cannon.
And that's a 13-point lead for the Flite as E.J. Ward easy to the cup. Tim, E.J. Ward has the answer here. That's what you would expect from a first-team All-CBA performer.
Yeah, he's a great player and knows when his team needs him and takes it on his back.
Reggie Lytle for 3 as the Flite are on fire. Assist goes to Antonio Cannon.
Yeah, just a silly foul there by Wadner Joseph. No reason to push that foul there. That's his second.
So Tim, the Flite really pulling ahead here in quarter number 3 with the 14-point advantage. 7 minutes left here in the third quarter.
Yeah, this first 4 or 5 minutes is huge for both teams here to start the second half. It could play and let you know what's going to happen the rest of the game.
E.J. Ward retreats from the elbow, now top of the key. And you see Lytle sneak up there. Jonathan Adams, long jumper is good as Adams hits it down from 18 feet.
Yeah, you can't leave Jonathan Adams open on any place on the court, let alone from about 8-10 feet.
51-39. Lytle up to Humphrey. Down low is Big T Wilson looking to get past Skates, and a blocking foul going to be called on number 1.
Yeah, the referee was forced to call that, as that was either going to be an out of bounds or a foul. So that was a good call. It had to go either way.
So for Quincy Skates, that'll be his third and the team's second here in the third quarter. 6:28 on the clock. Inbounds pass goes to Lytle. Catch and shoot, no good. Long rebound by E.J. Ward, pulls up. Elbow jumper is good as E.J. Ward is finding his stroke here in the third quarter.
Yeah, he's keeping them in this game here in the third quarter, Jeff.
10-point advantage. Look, it's no good. Rebound by Wadner Joseph as he's fouled underneath by E.J. Ward. So that'll be foul number 3 for Chattanooga. Once you hit to 5 fouls, that's an automatic 2 free throws.
Technical foul called on Chattanooga. That was Ward that got called for the technical foul, Jeff.
For Reggie Lytle, shooting 70% from the free throw line on the season, hits the first. Second free throw is good. So now Lytle's going to get. Now that's 2 for the technical, correct, Tim?
Correct, and now we need to be shooting for the original foul.
Okay, but I want to say the foul was on the floor, but no.
No, it was not.
Okay.
Yeah, he was shooting. Now there's no reason for the other team to, because it's going to be Flite's ball, so that's why there's no rebounders. Flite will get the ball on the technical.
So Reggie Lytle pouring them in here for the Flite as it's raining outside. It is raining inside here at Mack Park for Reggie Lytle. Lytle, who had 5 points at the break, here in the third now has 14 points. It's Reggie Lytle, outstanding. 55-41 to score, 6:09 left here in third quarter. Lytle, nice spin move, no good. Wadner Joseph put back, no good. Skates with the board. They're going to call Lytle with a slapping foul down there on the block. Foul does go to Wadner Joseph now. That's his third, team's third.
Yeah, just an aggressive foul. I don't think Coach Wilmot will have too many issues with that.
Ward being guarded by Lytle. Adams hands it off to Dante Hampton. Sturdivant coming from the wing. This is the starting 5 for Chattanooga. Sturdivant with an extra step there in the lane, so turnover by Chattanooga.
Yeah, that was all done by the defense. The defense let go of the body contact as Sturdivant was going. He was counting on that body contact to keep him balanced. Once that body contact wasn't there, it caused a travel.
This little slip of the footing there, Tim.
Yep. Oh, offensive call on the moving screen set by Antonio Wilson there, Jeff.
So back-to-back turnovers gives the ball back to Chattanooga, down by 14. So Big T Wilson called with a foul there. Both teams now with 4. So we're assuming we're going to see some free throws here in the double bonus.
Yeah, we're going to get some free throws here in the third. There's no question.
Ward on the trigger. Jonathan Adams kicks out to Sturdivant. Sturdivant's hit a tray already in this game early on in the first half. Jonathan Adams, right-handed shot, no good. Rebounded by Humphrey.
His 6th rebound.
Cannon near wing, picked up by E.J. Ward. Using the pick from Antonio Wilson. Pick and roll. Fade away, right-handed hook shot is good. Tim, it looked like he lost the handle there for a second, decided to still put it up, but a great looking shot there by Wilson.
Yeah, I don't think Wilson has even scratched the surface on how good he can be, so he's just a very skilled player.
It's E.J. Ward, 10 feet out, knocks it down.
Single-handedly keep him in this game here in the third quarter, Jeff. That's his 8th point of the quarter.
57-43 is your score, 4:40 left. And we do have a turnover as Cannon not too happy there.
Yeah, he wanted help there from Humphrey. Humphrey didn't come and help, and that's what he was upset about.
Alex Wells going to check in for Chattanooga. Looks like Wells is in for Quincy Skates.
Now the key with the Flite is not letting Wells breathe here. Any open space at all, they need to stay tight on Wells. If he gets going, that could be damaging.
E.J. Ward that time misses the bunny, rebounded by Wilson. E.J. Ward only had 2 points in the first half. Folks, towards the end of the season, he was averaging close to 30 points a game. James Humphrey just dribbles that one off his knee, Tim.
Yeah, he was complaining about knee in the back on the defensive post, but referee went with the turnover as Humphrey just dribbled it off his leg.
Ronald Lucas is going to check in for Wadner Joseph. So another guard on the floor here for the Flite. With their 2 bigs, the Twin Towers, in Antonio Wilson and James Humphrey. Flite, as we talked about 2 weeks ago, one of the youngest rosters in the CBA, if not the youngest, is Dante Hampton, who reigns it from 18 feet. So 57-45 to score, 12-point advantage. And if this game is going to proceed like it did in the first half, Chattanooga's going to have to go on a run here to bring it into single digits. That attempt no good, rebounded by Hampton. Lob goes to Sturdivant, who lays it in with the kiss.
That's knowing your personnel right there. Absolutely well passed. New Sturdivant, all you need to do is throw it up by the cup, and he's going to finish it.
So the Flite, we're up by 16 now, only up by 10, as Dennis Williams is off the bench. 6'11" player out of Grace College, Winona Lake, Indiana. Possession will stay with the Flite. So Dennis Williams checks in for James Humphrey.
Yeah, let's see if Coach Wilmot can get some good minutes out of Williams. Real big body, 7-footer. Let's see if he can give the Flite some good minutes.
Freeman Pinckney entering for Chattanooga, in for Dante Hampton. Inbounds Cannon to Wilson. Handoff goes to Antonio Cannon. Back by half court, launches a 30-footer. Tim shot that one from the parking lot, but the shot clock was dwindling down.
Yeah, he had to get that shot off. That was right as the shot clock expired.
That's about as long as three-pointers you're going to see.
Oh, and he has range from there. There's no question about it, but that was rushed.
That's a Seth Curry three-pointer, Tim.
And he's about the only guy that's going to make that consistently.
So 57-47 is your score. Fort Wayne Flite up by 10. 3:17 remains here in the third quarter. And what a third quarter it has been for Antonio Cannon. He had hit back-to-back three-pointers. Cannon right now, 16 points, 17 points in this game. And on the other end, E.J. Ward really keeping Chattanooga in this game as he's taking it upon himself to fill the cup. Ward had 4 points at the break. E.J. now has 12 points in this game. Folks, remember, game number 2, we will have the action for you. The Bowling Green Hornets with Terrace Clemens, the league's leading scorer, going to take on Miles Thrash, arguably one of the top players in the league. I mean, he is one of the top players in the league, the point guard for Middle Tennessee. The Storm come in as the 6th seed, Bowling Green, the number 2 seed. Bowling Green also has high flyer Chris Watson. Lots of overseas experience. The inbounds goes to E.J. Ward. Tim, Alex Wells still with 2 points in this game. Just a matter of time before he gets going, you would think. Pinckney out of the corner, finds a wide open E.J. Ward, driving from the wing, extra pass to Fred Sturdivant. What a pass, what a find by E.J. Ward.
That was a great look. Sturdivant had the position down low, and Ward found him.
8-0 run currently for Chattanooga. Fred Sturdivant with the last 2 buckets for the Rail Runners. On the block is Ronald Lucas. Pinckney doing a good job of holding his ground, rebounded by Wells. Wells now running the floor, splits defenders, Tim. That's what I'm talking about. He's a sharpshooter, but he's fancy in the lane.
Yeah, he can get it done in all areas on the offensive end. He's very gifted offensively.
So now a 6-point advantage for the Flite. 10-0 run by Chattanooga.
Yeah, these last 2.5 minutes of this third quarter are going to be very important. Obviously, the Flite want to push this lead out, and Chattanooga wants to keep it under 10 at least going into this fourth quarter. So this next 2.5 minutes is going to be huge for both teams. We're in a double bonus, Jeff. Luke's going to go to the line to shoot 2.
And the next foul by Fort Wayne will send Chattanooga to the line for 2.
Luke is 56% from the line this year.
And that foul went to Freeman Pinckney, his second. That's the first shot. It's no good.
Unlucky roll there.
Second free throw attempt by Ronald Lucas, just 21 years old. It's tipped in by Sturdivant. Tim, that's a legal play, is it not?
That's absolutely legal, but the ball went in anyway, so yeah, that's not a goaltending call. That's legal, but it went in, so we're good.
So is that 1 point for Lucas, or do we give him 2 points? Do the 2 points go to Lucas?
They do go to Lucas.
But it looks like they're only going to give him 1. So the 58-51 is your score. 2:24 remains. That's E.J. Ward, top of the key, looking down low for Adams. Kicks out. That's Pinckney. Sturdivant already hit a triple. He's shown his range just about every single player on this team. He can drain it from three-point land as E.J. Ward knocks it down. E.J. Ward continues his great play here in the third quarter. That'll pull the Rail Runners to within 4, 58-54. That was Zach Payton doing a good job keeping the ball alive for Fort Wayne. Now it's Antonio Wilson as Reggie Lytle has that shot blocked. Picking up the loose ball was Wilson. Lots of action there on the block as possession's going to stay with Fort Wayne.
Yeah, good effort on the boards there by Wilson. Just couldn't get the tip back to finish.
Tim, that looked like a mosh pit down there.
Yeah, they're battling. These guys want to win this ball game. There's no question about it, and go to the final game tomorrow. So they're going to leave it all on the court here, both teams.
21 seconds on the shot clock. And that is Zachary Payton on the trigger for Fort Wayne. Gets it up to Lucas. Lucas catch and drive. Musselin in the lane. As Herbert Terry going to be called with the foul. Now a technical. He's heading to the bench. James Humphrey going to come into the game for Herbert Terry. With just a 4-point lead, Tim, Coach Wilmot there just knew it, just can't have it.
No, you can't have something silly like that. You got to control your emotions. That's the one thing that you have 100% control of is yourself. So Coach Wilmot's not going to be happy with that at all.
So now with the technical, we're going to have some free throws. You got the double bonus, so you got 2 free throws there, plus the technical. So do we have 4 free throws coming up for Chattanooga?
And Chattanooga will get the ball.
Which could tie the game up after the Fort Wayne Flite, 4 minutes ago, at a 16-point lead.
Absolutely. I told you this last 2.5, 3 minutes of this third quarter are huge in determining the overall momentum going into the fourth quarter. So this is a huge play.
So Alex Wells going to head to the free throw line. I can't think of a better player, really, Tim, to add to the free throw line as he misses the first to prove me wrong. Joining us in the booth now is Calvin Alford, the owner, GM for the Middle Tennessee Storm. Calvin, thanks for joining us.
Hey, good to see you. And I know we just came in out of the rain, so I smudged my name a little bit. It's actually Carlin.
Oh, excuse me, Carlin.
That's okay. That's no problem.
So it does look like Alex hit his second one there, and a third to take it to 56. So Carlin, Middle Tennessee going to bring with them Miles Thrash today. You got to enjoy watching them play.
Yeah, Miles, I think at this point in his career, we can start talking about him and what his legacy is. I'm not saying that this is going to be his last 60 minutes or last 40 minutes, possibly last 80 minutes. But, he's hinted around that this could be it for him, and I think we can talk in legacy about him.
Now, the team traveling up from Nashville, has it been hard to get all the players on the roster to make those road trips?
Yeah, actually, I think it's been that way all season for all of the road games, close or far. But we're kind of grizzled veterans at this point, and so that's why we carry a roster of 14. And I try to make sure that 1 through 14 are all guys that we can count on.
Loose ball picked up by Adams, who gets it out to EJ. Jonathan Adams all alone, knocks it down from 18 feet, Tim.
Yeah, you can't leave him open at all, even if he gets a sliver of space. But look at the score here. This is huge right now with Chattanooga going up top on 1 now over the Flite.
59-58 your score. Just 53 seconds remains here in the third quarter as Chattanooga's had to battle back from a 16-point deficit to take the 1-point lead. And beautiful, well, just sticking to it, Tim, there by James Humphrey. As his first attempt was blocked by Sturdivant, but gets the rebound and puts it back in.
Yeah, good effort there by Hump. Get her done.
So Fort Wayne takes back the lead. E.J. Ward, looks like that shot was blocked by Antonio Wilson. 60-59 is your score. And 24 seconds, 23. Shot clock, game clock are about the same here as Ronald Lucas is going to take his time.
Yeah, definitely don't want to give Chattanooga any last shot here. You want to make sure you're the only one shooting the ball here with just 10 seconds left to go.
Lucas had that ball knocked away by Adams, and he's going to head to the free throw line to shoot 2. So a great job by Ronald Lucas getting to the free throw line.
Yeah, that's what he can do. He can get to the line. Obviously, we'd like to shoot it at a better clip, at 56% for the season, but he definitely gets there quite often.
Carlin, what's your interpretation of the 4 teams left here in the semifinals of the CBA playoffs?
Well, I think that, first of all, they are the most experienced teams, even though Bowling Green doesn't look anything like they have over the past couple of years, roster-wise. But this is what playoffs is about, is experience. And so I told my guys, actually I told Miles Thrash, this is exciting because when in the playoffs, you got to have great guard play. And so we're watching Antonio Cannon, E.J. Ward, Miles Thrash, Kalen Kimberland, and I say last man standing is going to have a whole lot to bark about.
No doubt about it, Carlin. And we've seen it in this game with the play from Antonio Cannon. And here in the third quarter, E.J. Ward, who's just stepped up large for the Rail Runners, as well gets the shot off. It looked like he was inside the arc there, but could not knock it down. So the Flite will take a 2-point lead into the fourth. And I'd have to agree with you 100%. We got really excited about this point guard matchup in this game. And then just seeing how the coaches are trying to work the matchups within the game, to where Antonio Cannon's not guarding E.J. Ward. He's got his best on-ball defender, Reggie Lytle, guarding E.J. Ward. So it's really neat to not only see how the players react, but also the coaches.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is going to be a coaching chess match. I mean, this is great, right? I think you're looking at 4 coaches going into this Final Four who are going to really try to outthink each other. It's a matter of pride as well. I think the coaches are really fired up to coach against each other.
Can you just talk about the proximity with Nashville, Middle Tennessee Storm in Nashville. And now you got Chattanooga. I believe a team out of Knoxville is looking to get into the league. But having teams in the same state close by, it's got to be nice because, hey, if one player doesn't make Middle Tennessee, maybe he can get picked up by another team in the CBA. I mean, do you see that? Well,
actually, I'm gonna sit here and take credit. And there's not an award for GM of the year, but I want it for putting together my roster and half of Bowling Green's roster. Nathan Thompson's not going to want to hear that, but Torres Hampton obviously was on our roster last year because of the stuff. We had a hard decision to make because of the style of play. We knew we were going to try and be up tempo. Not sure if that's even worked out for us this season. But what I did know is that we had a monster in Torres Hampton, and so I called up, Bowling Green and said, "Hey, look, here's a guy." And what do you know? He sets the record for rebounds. Eric,
a couple times.
Yeah, Eric Orr on their team. I don't think they've made the trip or anything. From Nashville. You already know Therese Clemens from Mount Juliet, which is a suburb of Nashville. Marquise, I believe, coaches with Miles Thrash out at Battleground Academy.
Oh, cool.
So there's a lot of trash talking. It makes it fun because there's a lot of familiarity.
Freeman Pinckney with the turnover there by Chattanooga. And you know what, Carlin, and you look at the CBA and how it's progressed in the last 3 years, but it just seems like those teams in that area are very strong, when it comes to wins and losses in the CBA. And I got to believe that you know, there's a correlation between you guys kind of working together, sharing the players, all being close?
Well, I run the Nashville Christian Fellowship League, which has 10 teams, over 120 players. We cover 3 states, and 90% of my guys come out of that league. It's like an all-star group of that league. And there are a couple of guys that play on CBA rosters that also play in the NCFL. So it's not uncommon to see Nathan Thompson come down and scout.
Three-point attempt is good by James Humphrey. His second three-pointer of the game. That'll give the Flite, or extend their lead, 64-59. 5-point advantage here for Fort Wayne as we are just 40 seconds into the fourth quarter. E.J. Ward in the paint. Tim, we've seen it all game long, the 10-footer.
And Jeff, just to follow that up, Nashville, I think I said this in our championship game last year in an interview, Nashville is a sneaky basketball town. Because when you think of the number of Division I schools.
And a strong take as Antonio Cannon, hanging in the air, fights through the arm contact, gets the bucket, and will head to the free throw line for the and-one.
If you just look at the NCAA tournament over the past years, Belmont, Lipscomb, Vanderbilt, Middle Tennessee State, and then you've got strong NAIA presence with places like Cumberland University, Fisk University, Vol State. You could go down the list. There's a lot of college basketball in Nashville. So when these guys graduate or move on, the CBA can present a lot of opportunity for them.
Well, that's great that you're able to form those relationships with the close schools around your areas. The long three-point attempt's no good. And Humphrey could not hold on to it, so the turnover by the Flite. Jonathan Adams in the corner was looking for the three. Pinckney, catch and shoot, and drains it top of the key. Tim, beautiful looking play there as Freeman Pinckney just let it go.
You can't leave him open. There was nobody within 10 feet of Pinckney right there. You got to put pressure on the shooter here, at least get a hand in the face.
So Lance Williams on the wing being guarded by E.J. Ward. Top of the key, holding the rock is Antonio Wilson, who's going to hand it off to his point guard. We got 10 seconds on the shot clock, 8:15 on the game clock. Cannon goes the opposite way of the pick set, launch for three. No good, did get a piece of the rim though, so we got a fresh shot clock.
Fresh shot clock. Carl, I wanted to talk to you about one of my favorite players to watch is Torrey Pelham. And how he attacks the glass, attacks the rim. Can you talk about what he's meant to your team?
Yeah, Torrey came to us about 3 games in last season. His agent called me, said, hey, look, I've got an athlete. I want you to take a look at him. I get a lot of that on Facebook, get a lot of those kind of calls. And I'm good because, I'm thinking we won the championship last year. I've got a pool of players in the NCFL. He walks in the gym, everybody on the team knows him already. And so I'm going, I'm thinking, there goes the chemistry thing.
Right.
I mean, can he play? I mean, I've got long guys already.
Right.
And the first 2 steps to the hole on the first time he touched the ball, I looked over at our coach and I said, we got to sign him. And then I heard that, he had been recovering from an injury that he sustained in Luxembourg. So I was like, I don't want to be responsible for that. And he brought in his papers from the surgeon, said he's cleared to go. And the guy has been more than highlights. He's been a solid performer offensively, defensively. He's a great glue guy. He's got a terrific attitude. On the trip on the way up here, he's telling stories that a lot of our guys don't have access to. He's like, when I was playing for Larry Eustace, I was like, wait a second, I forgot that at Southern Miss, that's who he played for. I'm thinking he played for Tyndall. That in between that, and that's not necessarily anything we're throwing out there, but he's like, no, that wasn't transfer. I played for Eustace. And I'm thinking, wait a second. So when you Google him, highlights from ESPN's top 10 come up. I'm like, wait a second, you made the top 10 one night on the ESPN and throwing the ball off the top of the backboard in the game at Southern Miss. It's just ridiculous stuff. And it's amazing. He's been a terrific guy, terrific asset, and he helps us win. To be honest with you, when we don't have him, we struggle.
Yeah, and his smile's infectious.
Yeah.
He's always out there. He's smiling. He's getting his teammates rattled up. He's one of, along with Thrash. I mean, Thrash is obviously one of our favorite players to watch just with his attitude and hustle and skill set. But Pelham, he's so fun to watch. And you can see he gets so much enjoyment out of playing the game of basketball.
And I'll be honest with you, we really haven't seen him at his best here in the CBA. We're getting close. He is about where he was before he got hurt. And look out, because this guy could be 25 and 10 every night if everything's right.
Yeah, Carlin, that is absolutely scary.
Yeah,
that is scary right there.
Carlin, you talk about you run a Christian league in Nashville.
Yeah.
And Benny here, and he's always got basketball players around.
Yeah.
Is that kind of the model for an owner here in the CBA, or it's just a nice resource to have?
No, I do think that there is a tacit approval of that model. Bishop Smith from Peoria and I talk all the time. I did not know this. Bishop Smith came down to one of our home openers for this league. We have a big concert on a Saturday night, and all the teams are mandatory. So we get a big church, and it's a gospel concert. And then we have 3 games on that night at 3 different gyms. He came down, unbeknownst to me, before I knew him, and said, I want to do this in Peoria. And so it works, because when the CBA is not going on, it keeps these guys busy, keeps them out of trouble, and keeps them in shape and gets them ready for something like this.
We saw that, obviously here with us being in Fort Wayne and watching the Flite so much. We've seen just having this facility here and the progression that James Humphrey and Wilson and Antonio Cannon, just from year to 1, year to 2, that's because they have access. They have access to the gym, and then it's up to them to take advantage of it. But
right.
You got to have an outlet for these players to hone their skills and to stay in shape.
Yeah, and I think if you were to poll a lot of these players coach.
Yes.
And so they get to run with their high school teams or their middle school teams, and that's kind of how they stay in shape if they don't have access to the kind of leagues that we run. And even with that, I've had a lot of coaches play for us, or guys that are leaning that way.
Yeah, now Miles Thrash, I believe he's a coach, is he not, for an AAU club?
Miles is actually director of basketball operations.
Well, that makes sense.
So he's got like 4 or 5 AAU teams. He's got an office, and I'm like, I went to drop off some passes for his kids one time, and I said, how many passes do you need? He said, about 60. How many teams do you coach?
But, not only is he getting to, stay in the game of basketball and just treat us all with his talents, but then giving that back to the kids, and in the Christian format that you're talking about as well, I imagine it's got to be just great for these kids to have role models like that.
Yeah, well, first of all, most of these guys are men, and most of them, I go down my list, and some of them are married, and they all, they have kids and jobs, and they're responsible. And in my league, I run a tight ship. There's no cursing, no fighting. We're going into our 10th year. There's never been a fight. I've only had to kick people out, of the league maybe once, and even that was a guy that came back, adhered to the policies, and that's what it's about. Is that a lot of guys, unfortunately, from the profile that we have, didn't have a lot of male mentorship.
Lance Williams, the Antonio Cannon, Flight Lines coming at you. 72-64, your score, with the Flite on top by 8 as Quincy Skates responds. What a play, Tim.
That was outstanding.
When Cannon dunks, it's almost unsportsmanlike. I feel like there should be a penalty call for how nasty that is.
Carlin, we absolutely love it. Last year I felt I just had to make a highlight for him because it's so much fun to watch number 5 play.
That boy can get up.
Yeah, he's explosive.
Nice pass to Antonio Wilson.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, it's only 2 points, but as far as momentum, look at this crowd getting hyped. The Flite bench is hyped. It's only 2 points, but it means a whole lot more than 2 points, those past 2 dunks.
Jeff, you tell us 2 weeks ago that dunk that Daryl Miller was only worth 2 points, that Daryl Miller had was only worth 2 points. Tell us that.
Exactly. A lot of fun to watch. So we're seeing it with every single team here in the CBA. It was neat this year to see the upcoming teams like Mississippi and Springfield really grow throughout the course of the season. With Mississippi, you saw them bringing in top-tier guys. Seemed like every other week they had some new, 6'8" just University of UMass, transfer in. But with Springfield, Joshua Minner, Sean Manning. You saw those guys' games progress as the season went on. Two brand new teams, but both doing it different ways.
Yeah, absolutely. And I talked to the Springfield team. I think we played them first or second, the second night of the season. And I talked to them. I told them, hey, look, guys, you got a good foundation. Keep working. Number one, the pro game is long, so pace yourself. You know what I mean? A lot of those guys came out and they were happy. This is a different type of conditioning, and that's, guys can be in shape, but then there is ball shape for the next level. And I told them, you got to get in ball shape. Number two, stay together, because like I said, Springfield has a great foundation. Mississippi has I don't even want to talk about them because, I think Wade put 40 on us when we went down there. I want to encourage them, but at the same time, I really don't want to say anything. I want to remain quiet so that we can forget that night.
One of the top scoring performances on the season from our Drakus Wade. We've seen that from Terrace Clemens from Bowling Green as well, and Alex Wells from Chattanooga. As Sturdivant battling with Wadner Joseph down low. Antonio Wilson got a piece of Quincy Skates' shot, but Skates is going to head to the free throw line to shoot 2.
Yeah, good battle there on the boards by both teams. A lot of hopping up and down, just nobody could put a handle on it.
Maybe the question of the year would be, how do you correctly say Kyle Teichman? Teichman's name.
Kyle Teichman. Yeah, Kyle Teichman. But you know what? We've enjoyed this, and we've enjoyed you. I want to commend you for the tremendous job you do. Our guys wait for the highlight show to come out.
Thank you.
We all watch it, and even with maybe some of the things that are get tightened up, it's so entertaining because we've been calling him Teekman in practice all season long, and I want to thank you for that. That's amazing. And he's a rookie, so just adding to that rookie hazing we needed the material, and there it is. Thank you.
And what a great player Kyle has been this year. It took him maybe 3 or 4 games to get his first double-double, but this is a guy who's got so many tools.
Yeah.
From beyond the perimeter or down on the block, we really enjoy Kyle's game.
Yeah, I had a chance to interview him 2 weeks ago, and the big thing I love about his footwork, it seems to come so naturally down in the post, and from talking to him, he seems to have played more on the perimeter in college and that. So, with his progression of his game, with the footwork the way it is right now, sky's the limit for him, seems like.
Yeah, absolutely. And what we're trying to do with him, and we're trying to do, I don't want this same team next year. I want everybody to be signed overseas. I want to start over with a new fresh 14.
Absolutely.
And with what we're doing with Kyle is we're trying to help him understand. Now, first of all, his basketball IQ is almost off the charts. But we're trying to give him reps at the high post because that's where he can make a living. Because with his ability to step back and shoot the 3, and also too with his back to the basket skills, now if we can put some of that mid-range in place for him or help him get that experience, I think he's a complete player at that point.
Fort Wayne up 74-67. We got 5:11 left to play here in the fourth quarter. Carlin, it's very special for me when I see guys showing up game in, game out, representing their squad. And you've got a guy like that on your team, and Dominique Rouse. He is one of those multifaceted players. It seems like he can do a little bit of everything. His body type kind of reminds me of Fred Sturdivant, another guy, as Reggie Lytle gets the lay-in over Sturdivant there. But Dominique Rouse, let's talk about that. And like I said, I really appreciate the fact that he's at all of the Middle Tennessee games. Yeah,
Dominique probably hasn't had the year that he wanted to have this year or that we wanted him to have this year. We felt like he was next up, right? This is Miles' team. There's no mistake about that. And we see him in the NCFL, which is the Christian league that I run. We see him in Pro-Am tournaments, and Dominique Rouse comes in and impresses, not just with his physical ability, but he's got a high basketball IQ as well. But he's the one guy on our team that all of our guys and all the other guys on the other team say, if I had what he had, I'd have been in the league. and that's not an insult to him or anything like that. It just lets him know that the sky is still the limit for him. You're 6'6.5", legit. 6'6.5". 7'2" wingspan. 34-inch vertical. Left-handed, can shoot from anywhere. Can play the 1, 2, 3, or the 4, depending on the matchup. Right. And you go, okay, and all that's left, and I told him on the way up here, I said, forget everything else. Put together a complete game. put together an almost triple-double, and you may not have to play another game here in the CBA.
Yeah.
One game. And it was similar to the conversation that I had with Chris Watson, who plays for Bowling Green.
He's a good one.
Chris and I talked before the season, little bit unbeknownst to everybody else. He was supposed to play for the Storm.
Okay.
And then he called me a couple of weeks before the season and said, Coach, I have an opportunity to go to Jacksonville and play. And I said, take that. He went and played one game and had 32 and 16 or something like that, and got signed in Mexico. Went to Mexico, played, came back. You're talking about an incredible athlete. I said, all you needed was one game to show you can put it all together.
Right.
Not just the points and rebounds and assists, but the attitude, being able to handle being coached. And that's what we're waiting for with Rouse. And when it happens, he's gonna explode.
Yeah, we saw that this year with Mississippi's Samson Carter.
Yeah.
I believe he's already been signed.
Yeah.
So And then Sally from Peoria had to leave because he had obligations over in, I believe, China, as the floater short there by Reggie Lytle. So it's really neat how the CBA is really making those opportunities for these players, as well as still trying to find that mark. Jonathan Adams left short, rebounded by Humphrey.
Looks like he hurt something.
So James, I'm not sure if he took a knee to the knee there. Tim on the outside, but 76-70 is your score. Turnover by the Flite. Chattanooga trying to get even a little bit closer. Pass intended for Alex Wells, chased down by E.J. Ward.
That was good help defense by Lytle right there. Ward looked like he was going to have that open floater again. And Lytle came out of nowhere to contest and cause a turnover.
In fairness to Rouse, all he needs is that break. The difference in the players that you mentioned with Sally and even me mentioning Chris Watson and Samson Carter is that they've already been. And so when you've been, team owners overseas know that you're not going to get homesick, that you can adjust to the food, that you can thrive even if the English language isn't the first language there. There are a lot of variables to just going overseas and playing ball. And Dominique can handle all of that. It's just he's going to need a chance to prove it. And once he does, and I believe in my heart he'll get that chance. He's too good not to. And once he does do that, it'll be easier for him to go back overseas.
Yeah, Carlin, I mean, just with the eye test, every time you look down there, it's always a double take. Okay, who's this guy? But really, I'll say as somebody, putting together the show week in and week out, it's really nice to know, okay, Dominique, he's going to be there, because big roster here, and I feel like sometimes, the Middle Tennessee team that came here in the regular season to take on the Flite, and then the team that we saw last week, kind of two different teams.
Well, yeah, and then I'll give you a short preview. We've got LaCorey Daniels back tonight, and he's had to rest his Achilles. He also had a double eye infection 2 weeks ago. Couldn't even see. Now he's 100%. And you're going to see the LaCorey Daniels that University of Alabama recruited. A lot of people don't remember he actually played at Alabama first before he transferred to Lipscomb.
Right. Yeah, Lipscomb University. LaCorey Daniels, a 29-year-old at 6'3", 190, wears number 20. And I believe when he came to Fort Wayne, he was wearing a different jersey.
Yeah. So we had a bit of a mix-up, and because this year we really wanted to recognize our players and have their unique their names on the back. It is, for whatever reasons, he and Dominique Rouse, who doubled as Daryl Miller that day.
Right.
It was, what happened was we just had a mix-up, and the guys took it pretty well. And I know that it caused a little bit of consternation for the commissioner and a little bit of confusion here, but you guys handled it very well. So, but you're gonna, like I said, I'm very pleased that we have LK back with us tonight. We brought Fred Hill. Fred Hill has had a groin injury he's been struggling with all year long. He's rested for 4 weeks. Fred Hill was a monster for us back in the old days of CBL, getting double-digit rebounds. I think he originally had the original record. He's feeling good. He actually, in one game in the NCFL against Hunter Harris, who's a starter on our squad, 6'8" power forward from ETSU. Fred had 38 points against Hunter Harris in the NCFL game. 38 points, 14 rebounds, and 9 assists. So, if we can get Fred anywhere close to that, Fred, and LaCorey anywhere close to that, LaCorey, with Miles Thrash and, the rest of our guys, Torrey Pelham's feeling good. Daryl Miller's feeling good. His confidence is coming. He's a young guy. He needed that game up here a couple of weeks ago to build his confidence. I feel good about our chances, but then I look across the court at Bowling Green. First of all, we know all those guys, right? And I'm going, how are we going to do this? And so I'm glad I'm not coaching. I'm going to be doing the social media down on the floor, but I'm losing my mind the whole time. And that's why I have Nathan Wilhite, who, by the way, I think is very underrated as a coach. And I'll tell you this, I think Nathan Thompson probably deserves a little bit more credit as well for him to finish as the second seed or third seed, whatever they finish, second seed, and to do it with really 6 to 7 guys per week, and not the same 6 to 7 guys. I have a lot of respect for Nathan, a lot of respect for both Nathans. And again, it just makes it a pleasure to be in this league when you have that level going on. And I'm going to tell you something right now. My good friend down there, Paul Gaffney, I give him so much trouble, but he's been coaching his behind off this year.
Coach of the year.
Yeah. And Wilmot, Wilmot too. How many different suits does he have? Never seen the same suit. I want the budget that Benny Lewis has.
Well, I'm going to tell you, the correlation, it seems like, with these CBA teams, Fred Sturdivant with the flush brings Chattanooga to within 4.
Jeff.
Harlan, you're seeing a lot of high-character individuals a part of these franchises.
Yeah. And I've been blessed to have a roster and coaching staff that is just, they're tremendous men. They're tremendous men, along with being, and that's, there's a lot of work that goes into being on, a lot of sacrifice, a lot of investment. But, when you can be involved with people like this and they're grateful and you can possibly help them along their way, I mean, it's just all around, it's a great deal for all of us. And, we just saw Sturdivant hit that bucket, and I was going to cheer for him because I thought he was Daryl Miller.
For a second.
We teased him about being twins.
I will tell you, in week 1, I think Daryl Miller may have had the most electric play that we saw all weekend.
In week 1.
I'm sorry,
round 1.
Round 1 with the dunk against Memphis.
Oh,
yeah. He needed that, though. He needed that. And what's amazing, I think Torrey Pelham had like 5 dunks in that game, but the one we're talking about is the
exactly.
It was more about the Scottie Pippen-esque walkover at the end, and I talked to him about that because truth of the matter is that dunk got us 2 points, but the Tech evened it out because they believe they hit both, and then they got the ball back and scored, so it actually became a swing that benefited Memphis.
Lucas wide open here, cherry picking. Lytle.
So catching Chattanooga napping right there, Tim, or is that just a...
Yeah, Lytle basically sneaked out in the backcourt for the Rail Runners, never paid attention to him. That was an easy bucket.
Well, it's 78-73, make it 75 now as Jonathan Adams with the lay-in will pull Chattanooga to within 3. We are inside 2 minutes to play, 1:43 and counting. Reggie Lytle once again finding himself a seam. Thought he rose up high enough, but Sturdivant was there to meet him. Fred Sturdivant definitely has that length there, Tim, and athleticism.
Good hands there by Wilson, knocking the ball off Adams, causing that turnover there. But yeah, he scraped the roof on on that block. Sturdivant with that length and agility is tremendous.
Chattanooga's going to want to try and shoot threes, but I'm telling you, they should go back to Adams again.
Yes.
They can't do anything with him. Fort Wayne can't do anything with him.
No.
And there's enough time.
Carlin, honestly, that's kind of what I was thinking, when it gets down to the wire, who are we going to look to? You got Antonio Cannon for the Flite, and you got the 2 bigs in Antonio Wilson and James Humphrey, E.J. Ward and Jonathan Adams on the other end.
Yeah, you got a 3-possession game here, right? You have 1:30 left, 24-second shot clock. You got a 3-possession game. They're probably going to get the ball back after this. What you're going to want to do is go down to Adams first.
Yes.
And what they'll do is if they don't collapse on him, he can go to work. If they do, you got Wells, you got Ward, you got good shooters. So
spread the floor and kick it.
Right. But again, this is why the CBA is so great, because guys don't get a chance to play like this in rec league ball or other stuff. This is what you went to camp for. This is what you went to college for.
It's all-stars versus all-stars, It's the evolution, once again, of basketball. 1:21 left to play. Alex Wells, first time this game. Tim, is that going to be a turnover?
Yeah,
put on the sideline?
Stepped on the line there.
I know he was open, but again, that's what I'm saying there is, Got to feed the big man.
Yeah, I'm always on this page of quick two. We get that quick two, especially with this much time left. There's no reason for the three. Nice
beautiful feed. James Humphrey going up with authority. That'll extend the lead to 6 for the Flite. 81-75, 107 left to play. It looks like Freeman Pinckney entering the game for Alex Wells.
Yeah, kids need to watch how well they've been moving without the ball. It's so important to make your cuts without the ball. Movement without the ball is key in the game of basketball, and it could give you 8 to 10 points a game just being effort and cutting to the basket.
Yeah.
Adams' three-point attempt is good. Nothing but the bottom of the net for the big man, Jonathan Adams, averaging a double-double on the season, Tim, but draining the triple.
Yeah, he needed that right there, just his fifth point this quarter, but Rail Runners needed that three to pull within 3.
And I don't know if it's me or if Humphrey seems more explosive this year than he was last year.
Most definitely. Yes. And Carlin, one thing we've noticed from last year to this year has been the endurance of the players, no doubt about it. As Cannon looks like he's going to be fouled by E.J. Ward. Ward taking a seat there with our fans that are courtside. Fans really loving, just watching this action. A lot of these guys will play here at Mack Park, and James Humphrey, Antonio Cannon, going around kind of mentoring them, teaching them how to dunk it like Antonio Cannon.
Yeah, and I know for a fact that in Chattanooga the guys do that too, especially E.J. Ward. He's big in the community, working with kids. I think he actually works in the school system, and he's, you saw what he did. He's rubbing the kids on the head, and he's talking to them. And partially, I think he Cannon, and Thrash have to be that way because they're no bigger than the kids.
Yes.
They get a lot. They catch a lot of heat. From I can do what you can do, and then they see him play and they go, no, I can't.
special talent, no doubt about it. As Cannon does miss the first, so still, three-point advantage. He was not happy about it.
71% for the line for the year is Cannon.
Cannon shooting just over 50% in this game. Hits the second, so that'll extend the lead to 4 points for the Fort Wayne Flite, which will make it a 2-possession game.
Yeah, again, you want to go for a quick 2. Yes. I mean, guys, this is basketball 101. Yep. They need to get, and with E.J. Ward, who's maybe the quickest human being I've seen, next to Ty Lawson. I've seen Ty Lawson in person. I'm telling you, E.J.'s in that class.
E.J. Ward now 42 seconds on the clock, 18 now on the shot clock.
For a 3.
DJ.
Nice block by Lytle right at the DJs.
Yeah, Dante Hampton looking to rise up there. Lytle with the block, sends it out of bounds. We got 15 seconds on the shot clock, 37 on the game clock, and that's a timeout there by Coach Rod Wilmot. Tim, take us in the mind of Coach Wilmot right now. What do you think he's setting up the Flite for?
On defense, he needs to make sure that his rotations are right. Everybody knows where they're supposed to be at. On the offensive end, 37 seconds left. They probably will get fouled right away, so we're going to make sure. I know Cannon's been struggling from the line, but you want him there at clutch time. So, with him, maybe, I don't know if get Wadner Joseph maybe back on the court, being the best free throw shooter on the team. But it's going to be key. It's going to come down to free throws here, bottom line. You're going to have to make your free throws. You make your free throws, this game could be yours.
Well, Tim, Reggie Lytle in this game is a perfect 4 for 4 from the free throw line. So, excuse me, he is 5 of 6 from the free throw line, but hit 4 in a row there in that series where there was the technical foul called on number 3. E.J. Ward, so it's going to be an interesting final 37 seconds here.
Couldn't ask for anything best. First game here tonight at the semifinals. We got a 4-point game, 37 seconds to go. Home team's up, good crowd in here. Couldn't ask for a better start to the semis.
Yeah, we fully expected this, though. We fully expected when we saw the matchups. It said, I just want us to live up to our end. I know Bowling Green, we always play tough against each other. We have no idea how it's going to end up. Hope it's going to end up in our favor, but the fact is that everybody's having a good time. It's going to be great basketball tonight.
It's got to be comforting knowing that you have Miles Thrash with you this time. No good, long rebound by Wilson over to Lance Williams. Another good guy to have his hands on the ball.
Got to foul him.
Lytle gets it up to Wilson. 13 seconds on the shot clock. What do you think? Just taking a little bit too long?
Yeah, no, to me, if you go right at the steal first, if you don't get that steal, you need a foul. Extend this game here. They left about 15 seconds run off the clock. So, that could be the difference right there.
You bring up Miles Thrash. We know he's an incredible player. He's a great ambassador for the great ambassador for this league. And I have no problem with anything that's gone on in the last week as far as naming teams. But what great motivation is it for me to yell out third team to Miles? And he's a good-natured guy. So I mean, and you can't take anything away from the guys who were named to the first team. Don't have a problem really. But at the same time, we're probably talking about the guy who's the all-time leading scorer in CBA history. So good motivation.
5-point advantage here for the Flite as E.J. Ward, no problem. They're getting to the cup. Only 9 seconds remains, though, with the score 83-80. Looks this time it's Lance Williams going to head to the free throw line. And, Carlin, let that be a good example for future players where that's really just a situation where Miles missed a few games there, obviously in the middle of the season.
I'm going to say, and what I told him is I don't think it really even boiled down to that. I think what it boiled down to is we finished 6th. You can't argue with that. You know what I mean? We win a couple more games, and maybe it means more. Maybe it's more meaningful. I think that's it.
But to be honest with you, you look at it. Okay. You have a pool of players, all these CBA players. Who's the one player you want to start your team? And to be honest with you, going with the 2015 MVP and Mardrakus Wade probably would not be a bad choice at all.
Not at all. I wouldn't kick him out of my gym.
Jonathan Adams misses on the triple, so Fort Wayne's going to take the win, 85-80. The Flite building a lead as big as 16 points in the third quarter. Chattanooga was able to whittle that lead down to single digits, but could never really get back and take full advantage. So the Rail Runners having to make the trip up here from Chattanooga to Fort Wayne as the number 1 seed drops it to the number 4 seed, Fort Wayne Flite, 85-80. Tim Atkinson down on the floor to bring you some interviews here, hopefully with the head coaches and a few players from the Fort Wayne Flite. Carlin, good luck to you and your squad here. I know you got to have some butterflies, but really excited here for the semifinal matchup with the Hornets.
Yeah, absolutely jazzed about the game. But I'll tell you what, I'm even more happy for the league. Shouts out to Wasim Morad for really putting together something great.
Okay, we got
Cannon here with Antonio Cannon. Huge win. Finally got that Chattanooga monkey off your guys' back. Tell me a little bit what you thought the difference was in tonight's matchup.
Tonight's matchup, we had a game plan. We came out here, we did the game plan. Tonight, we came out here with a W.
Now, you guys are still undefeated at home this year, all right? You got tomorrow's a championship game. Does it matter who you play? Does it matter at all?
It really doesn't matter who we play. We're taking it by us. This is all about us. We're not worried about the other team. We're going to come out here and play hard, and then we're going to get another win.
Awesome. Congratulations. Good luck in the championship game.
Antonio Cannon, a fantastic game by number 5, last year's MVP hit from nearby Indiana Tech. We now have Coach Rod Wilmot with Tim.
Sitting here with Coach Wilmot. Huge win. Still undefeated. Finally got that Chattanooga monkey off your back. What was the difference in tonight's matchup for you guys?
We executed. We executed the game plan. We had some mistakes, but we executed the whole game, and we battled together. Guys, when we had that little run, we made a couple subs. They made a run. We stayed together. I put my guys back in. We stayed focused, and we got back the lead. Well, that's just maturity because we've been battle tested before, and these guys are just responding. We just keep working, and they deserve it. They deserve it. They worked hard all week. They listened to me yelling, but, I told them, I'm trying to do it for their best interest, to let them understand how to play the game the right way. We shared the ball, and, we got the win. So I'm very happy for them.
Yeah, team defense was outstanding. Rotations, everybody was on point, it seemed like, defensively, and that led to a lot of chances on the offensive end. So was that one of the main things these past 2 weeks was the overall team defense and game plan?
Exactly. It was all about EJ is a great player. We wanted him to score, but we didn't want him to give everybody else touches. And they executed the game plan well. And I can't be more proud of these guys, man. And it's from where we started 2 years ago to where we're at now, it's amazing.
Good luck, Coach, and good luck in the championship game tomorrow. We'll see you tomorrow.
So once again, the Fort Wayne Flite advancing to the championship. Tomorrow, 3 p.m., they will take on the winner of either one of these two teams, the Bowling Green Hornets or the Middle Tennessee Storm. Looks like Tim's going to see if he can't find one more interview. Carlin, just real quick, where do you kind of see the CBA in year number 4 next year for the 2016 season? Do you see any massive shakeups or any real big changes? Obviously, last year we went from NBA rules to FIBA rules. But what do you think next year we'll have in store for the CBA?
I'd like to see us stick with one set of rules. So I think we'll stick with the FIBA rules. I think that we will, you'll see some expansion, which will be good. And I also think that you're going to see some more established relationships higher up. So whether that's, larger basketball organizations here in the U.S. or abroad, I think that we've established enough credibility, and we're establishing enough pool, of players, and the stability of our franchise. You're not talking about any forfeits, no missed games, no major problems like with players or coaches or anything like that. I think we're going to see more sponsorship happen. We needed to do this first, right? And before we could entertain those other things. But I think what you're just going to see is the level of professionalism rise and our value rise. And as an owner, that's what we want to see. We want to see the value rise.
It's exciting times right now for the CBA.
Yeah.
Beautiful game right there. I mean, that was huge. You can see how much Coach Wilmot wears his emotions on his sleeve. I think he's sweating more than half the guys down there in that beautiful suit.
Well, here's the thing. He's probably got another suit waiting to change into. And I'm going to go tell him about that here in a couple of minutes.
Well, Carlin, once again, we really appreciate you taking the time to join us here in the booth. We wish you all the success with what you're doing in the Nashville area with the kids. I'm sure training them from a young age and really just bringing them in a positive atmosphere and doing so much for the community. So we think it's awesome. Benny's doing it here in Fort Wayne. We love Benny Lewis for that. This is our hometown, and hopefully one day we'll get to come check you guys out in Nashville as well. So
absolutely.
Well, we're known for our hospitality. You come down there, we're going to show you guys a good time.
Well, good luck here in game number 2.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Thanks, Coach.
And once again, that is owner GM Carlin Alford for the Middle Tennessee Storm. If you're in Nashville, definitely check out the Storm. This is an exciting bunch. Folks, let's just go over the scoring real quick to recap. For Chattanooga, Quincy Skates with 7 points, Dante Hampton with 10, EJ Ward had a team-high 17 points, along with Fred Sturdivant, who had 17, Freeman Pinckney with 3, Alex Wells with 7, and Jonathan Adams with 16 points. For Chattanooga, who drops in game number 1, 85-80, the Rail Runners, who have been the number 1 seed in the past 2 CBA postseasons, once again is not going to bring home the postseason championship. For the Fort Wayne Flite, huge game by number 3, Reggie Lytle. He had 18 points and played great defense. Antonio Cannon with a game-high 24 points. Antonio, just so proud for him, Tim.
Yeah.
I know the work that these guys put in, and to come here and beat the number 1 seed.
Yes.
Shout out to Antonio Cannon and the Fort Wayne Flite. Ronald Lucas had 2 points. Wadden Joseph with 4. James Humphrey with 21 points. Antonio Wilson with 8. And Lance Williams with 7. Tim, any last comments here before we head to game number 2?
Once again, it's playing out. The Flite still undefeated in this building. All right, they play tomorrow now. As we talk to Antonio, he does not care who they play. As far as the Fort Wayne Flite are concerned, if they play their game, they feel like they can beat anyone. As you saw tonight, outstanding team defense. As I talked with Coach Wilmot, you can see the passion in the eyes and how much it means to him that his team got the W. There's a huge monkey off the back. I hate to go back and keep saying that, but there was a huge monkey off the back with beating Chattanooga. So hats off to Coach Gaffney and the Rail Runners. Flite were just a better team tonight.
Well, folks, thanks so much for joining us for game number 1, and we'll be right back with you for game number 2, Bowling Green in Middle Tennessee.